your mother. It's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just the
duo
of feathery brethren, weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Both and Zach kicking it cooler than
two.
Penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some Birds with Friends. The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some Birds with Friends. Both and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping.
We are going to rip out the hearts of other podcasts. We are going to bite off their eyeballs. We're going to start every segment watching the scene from The Last of the Mohicans where the guy takes a bite out of the other guy's heart. We may not be good, but we're going to be nasty. We're going to reflect the blue-collar nature of this city. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Friday afternoon. We start just as Argentina puts the ball in the back of the net. You're listening to Birds with Friends. We've got a lot to talk about. The Eagles and Giants play on Sunday. We've got Marissa Dunn, the best producer in the game. We've got Zach Berman, the award-winning journalist and author of Underdogs. And we've got a quirky writer that amuses himself and struggles to create quality content.
That's not true.
That's not true at all.
I mean, I'm just reading verbatim
we have
comment, so I just...
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. I was going to say we have a company leading writer.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Like,
I've never met someone more creative than you. This is not a dig at anybody else, but like...
it says Bo is simply a quirky writer that amuses himself and struggles to create quality content.
It does not say that. It does not say that. But
I mean, it does say that. I don't know what I'm going to tell you.
I don't want to give away our internal data, but every time I read, I look at the internal data, Bo's work is at the top of the list in terms of metrics. So it's a credit to Bo.
Yeah, but really couldn't like a trained monkey just write the power rankings and they would still get lots of views? I don't know. Is there...
people keep coming back because you do them well. So you should take credit where it's due.
All right, we got a lot to talk about.
Yes.
We're in the guts of the season here. December football. Every game matters for this Eagles team as they chase the number 1 seed. So we will do a little bird on the street, get to know what's going on with the Eagles this week. And over the past 48 hours, we will have a little quill of the tape, break down this game against the G-Men, those classy New York football Giants. We've got Swooper scorecasting. Make sure that if you are in the live chat, you're giving some suggestions for Swooper prompts. And then we'll have our crystal ball eagle, our predictions for how this game is going. Before we do that, Zach, how was Puddler's Pub? Did we get any body parts signed? Did we get any sicko fans? Did we have any?
We had loyal listeners. No nudity and no signing of body parts, but some loyal listeners and hopefully some new listeners after meeting. I appreciate everyone who turned out. Anyone who's in the Bridgeport, Norristown area right now, I imagine is experiencing traffic jams in front of Puddler's Pub on DeKalb Pike. And that certainly was a factor the other night, but it was great to see everyone who came and appreciated. There was one listener, by the way, because whenever someone says they listen, I always say, do you have any advice? Right? I want to know feedback, how we can get better. And someone said, the shows can be longer. And I almost did a spit take, right? And so I didn't know if Bo sent this person, but I appreciate the sentiment. I think he was kidding. If he wasn't, I got to say that's one piece of advice I probably won't take to heart because unless you're commuting unless you're commuting from here to Giant Stadium or to MetLife Stadium, I should say every
Marissa,
day.
What a pull.
Great job, Marissa. Then we are beyond your commute time. But I appreciate the time here. On the screen for our audio listeners is a picture with 3 outstanding writers and me.
And Mike Sielski.
Yeah. So you have Mike Sielski, Leslie Van Arsdale, and Ray Didinger. And Ray, the attraction.
And you, Zach.
And yes, and me, Ray.
Now, Zach, it looks to me, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks to me like the 3 of them are a little bit closer bunched together, and you have decided to give yourself a little distance. Would you agree, or is that just the perspective?
No, it happens. Yes, that is true. I don't quite know why that is.
You didn't want to crowd in on Ray?
No, Ray always
You
had a
were
crowd around
respecting
him.
his
so
personal space.
giving
I see that.
Yeah, but you can actually see behind him. You might laugh at this. I bring a jumbo sign to my book
Nice.
signing.
I can see
Yes,
that there.
I got that, but appreciate that, and make sure you check out all of those books.
How many jumbo signs do you have? Jumbo covers.
I have one jumbo cover, and then there's another jumbo sign that was event specific, but it's got like a big picture of my face and a big picture of the book, and then it says
I think we're going to need to get a hold of
says to
that.
sign it. We will not need to do that. Anyways, Eagles Giants this weekend. You could read about the Eagles Giants game from 2017 in underdogs when the Eagles had that big win. Jake Elliott's field goal there at the end, and now they head up the Jersey Turnpike, our annual drive. I was going to say trek, but trek usually means you're walking. Annual drive up the Jersey Turnpike for a game when the Eagles are 7-point favorites.
Marissa, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Not much. Excited for this game. I mean, I don't think I've ever revealed this on the podcast, and I don't know if I should, but I actually grew up a Giants fan. Obviously, I don't have those.
You're from New Jersey. You're a classy broad.
Yeah, I don't have those allegiances anymore. But my family still roots for the Giants, obviously, in addition to the Browns. But so, yeah, big game this weekend.
Even your mom?
No, my mom doesn't. She only watches the Browns. But my aunts and some of my cousins. But I do have some in-law or married-in family that are Eagles fans. So it's a nice rivalry game amongst my family. So I'm excited for the trash talking in our little sports chat we have. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
I figured when you said you were a Yankees fan, and this was a long time ago, is it true that Yankees Giants usually correspond and Mets Jets usually correspond?
Yeah, we were actually talking about this on the Jets pod this morning because I brought up the Aaron Judge news, and they were like, well, this is, you need Mets news on the Jets podcast kind of thing.
It's interesting. My very specific experience was the opposite, that it was much more
really?
That it was it was much more Jets, Yankees, and Giants, Mets, but I don't know, just a weird.
I thought because of like the Long Island thing, it was often Jets. Jets.
Yeah, because that's where the Jets facility used to be, right?
Exactly, and the Mets are in Queens, and then the Yankees had more of the North Jersey. The Giants had more of the North Jersey part, so I could be wrong there, but that was my experience when I covered the Giants.
And of course, Marissa's second cousin dating Azeez Ojulari.
No. I was like, wait a second, what is he about to say? That is not true.
Who was your favorite Giant?
I mean, I don't want to sound like Z-Burn, but I always liked Eli growing up. Like, how could you not like Eli? But I mean, I was definitely a bigger Yankees fan than Giants fan. Yeah, I still obviously during the Super Bowls, and it's funny now because Michael actually grew up a Patriots fan. So those Super Bowls are what I like to rub in Michael's face. And Michael has made it very clear that obviously we're going to raise our family in New Jersey, that our kids, he does not want our kids to grow up Giants fans because he is scarred from those Super Bowls as a kid. So
we'll see. Browns fans or
wherever Michael is.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I said. So we'll let them choose. But
he has the advantage.
Yeah.
For like everyone else in the world, they can pick where their kids are. Michael plays professional football, so he can decide. So he has particular allegiances.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's right. I have one.
But I want the chat to hate me. I'm getting some people are devastated. No hate, but just like sad. I'm really sorry. I every weekend am pulling. I want a Super Bowl for the Eagles because I think it would be so fun for the show, and I want us all out in Arizona. So that's what I'm pulling for. So. I don't want people to hate me.
I have one more non-football thing I'd like to discuss that it occurs to me like every time this happens that we should talk about on the podcast, and then I always forget. I feel like people have made the point that it's such an upset that the QR reader ended up actually being helpful. Like it seemed like such a stupid thing when it was first introduced, and it has actually been something useful. I feel like the credit card tap, the chip tap. What an improvement on every other previous iteration on the swipe and the insert, the tap. It works so well almost every time. It's fantastic. You guys
I've honestly never done that. My mom does it. No, I've never done the tap.
Oh, the tap is fantastic.
My mom does it all the time, and I'm like, what are you doing? Just insert it. So I don't know.
No,
I'm outdated.
Yeah. The tap is great, and actually to bring it to the original point at the book signing, it makes it easy to accept. The tap makes it easy.
Pulling it all full circle.
Yes,
you're a pro.
Try to be.
All right. Well, with that in mind, we tap it on over to the stone cold newsman Zach Berman himself, from Puddler's Pub to the NovaCare Complex and everywhere in between. He has his nose to the grindstone and can tell us and fill us in on everything that's going on with the Birds, who are 11-1, looking to go 12-1 this weekend.
The Eagles had their final practice of the week on Friday before they head up to North Jersey to face the New York Giants. Final injury report is not out yet for the Eagles, but the only injury that I think might be of concern right now is Sean Bradley. We will monitor that one. Avonte Maddox, he's not on the injury report because he's not yet on the 53-man roster, but it certainly sounds like he'll be promoted, or I should say activated, tomorrow. So it sounds like it's been a good week at practice. We'll see how that goes, but the injuries to Quez Watkins, Jordan Davis, and Kaiser White don't seem to be particularly serious. So there should be optimism there. The Giants, though, however, their injury report keeps stacking up. Their final game status report came out. Saquon Barkley questionable with a neck injury. Leonard Williams, this is a big one, doubtful with a neck injury. And Adoree Jackson, the cornerback, has out with a knee injury. Shane Lemieux out with a toe injury. And then Josh, Azudu? He is out with a neck injury. But the big injuries to monitor in the next 24, 48 hours there will be Leonard Williams and Saquon Barkley. Two of their best players, I'd say two of their three best players, and both are their status in serious question here. So back to you in the studio, Bo.
So are you going Dexter Lawrence or Andrew Thomas for your number 3 there?
I was going Dexter Lawrence, but I suppose I will put in Andrew Thomas. I gotta say, Andrew Thomas, that's been more of a coming on this year thing, right? Yeah. This is our first time seeing the Giants. Yeah. So last year, Thomas wasn't quite at, he's a third-year player, correct?
Is he?
Second or third? Yeah, I think he's a third. Okay. No, second-year player.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, second-year player. So something to certainly pay attention to there.
And who would you give the nod to as your number 5 Giants player?
Wait, no, I think he's a third-year player. Yeah, he was during the COVID draft, right? Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
He was with those 4 tackles.
Yeah, the 4 tackles.
Yep. Jedrick Wills.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And who's the
Tristan Wirfs was one. Yep.
Yeah.
And the Jets guy.
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What was your question, Bo?
Who's your 5th best Giant?
My 5th best Giant.
They got an okay top 4, and then it really falls off after that.
I mean, can I go Kayvon Thibodeau?
I think Ojulari is probably better right now. Wouldn't you say?
He's just coming back from injury, but yeah.
Fair. Dexter Lawrence is a big, strong, powerful man. Dexter Lawrence is basically like in your wildest dreams what you hope Jordan Davis turns out to be.
Yeah, I was big on Dexter Lawrence coming out of the draft that year.
Yeah, but weren't you also big on Christian Wilkins?
I was bigger on Dexter Lawrence. I actually, if you go to the Inquirer mock draft, I had them taking Dexter Lawrence.
Okay,
probably for similar reasons that I said they should take Jordan Davis.
And I was big on Brian Burns, and I think I was the only one on the podcast who was big on Brian Burns at the time.
By the way, a quick, I wouldn't call it a grouse from me, but a head-scratching move that I don't think makes any sense. Jimmy Kemsky pointed this out in an article, and I've heard from some other people.
I was about to
elsewhere.
Grouse Jimmy.
No. It's a credit. I'm crediting Jimmy, and then I've heard it from other corners that it's one of those rules that does not make sense. Dallas Goedert and CJ Gardner-Johnson are not on the Pro Bowl balloting because they're on injured reserve right now. So in essence, essentially, if the Eagles did not put
these really dumb.
They're going to come back this year. The NFL put this IR policy in place so you only need to be on for 4 weeks and you can come back. But if you're on IR during this period of the year, then you are not on the ballot. So Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who has led the NFL in interceptions, Dallas Goedert, who statistically is still among the top tight ends in the league, are not eligible to be voted on for the Pro Bowl because of the time of year when they were injured. If they were injured weeks 2 to 6, they'd be candidates. If they are coming back from injury right now, they'd be candidates. But this specific time when the Pro Bowl balloting and the IR overlaps, they are not on the list. So that doesn't make any sense.
It was just like a logistical oversight and somebody wasn't doing their job, right? Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It shouldn't be the case. It's very dumb.
Yeah, and I think
and it also costs those guys money.
Sure, and status, prestige. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Those guys, their agents should be furious.
I'm not saying that they should be.
I mean, Gardner-Johnson is going to be a free agent.
Yeah,
Goddard might have a clause in his contract about it.
Yeah, they should be candidates to be voted for the Pro Bowl. So when I heard that this week, it was one of those things. This isn't even I'm not being an Eagles homer here or anything. If you said this about players on the Giants, I would say the same type of thing. It just makes no logical sense, and it seems like an easy thing for the league to rectify.
Yeah, it's outrageous. So. It also reminds me of a story that I probably can't tell on the podcast, but remind me to tell you afterwards, Zach.
Okay. I look forward to that. That's a great tease.
There you go.
Yeah. These Giants injuries. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. Already the Eagles are the superior roster. I don't think that's overstating it. And the Eagles go into this game with a healthier 53 than the Giants. What's your read on that?
Yeah, I'm curious the line. I mean, maybe it has, but where I see it still at 7, I'm surprised. I would expect it to move a little bit more. I mean, it's like we talked about. They've got 4 or 5 good players, and they're going to be without definitely one of them, maybe 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. Now, Saquon Barkley has not been as good the last month of the season as he was at the start of the season, but he's still the engine that makes their offense go. And no Leonard Williams makes a big difference. We can get to the specific matchups, but the defense is not good. And you take away one of their 2 or 3 good players. Maybe I think their defensive line is actually pretty good. I have a Wink Martindale take where, it's he's interesting because he blitzes at the highest rate in the league, plays man coverage at by far the highest rate in the league. But there's a reason the Ravens got rid of him, and I don't think that he is making the most out of that defensive roster. They're 28th in defensive DVOA. That defensive line is pretty good. And the secondary is not that bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of blitzing from the secondary, right? When you have
I don't think that he's maximizing, getting the most out of pulling a chicken salad situation. I think they're underperforming.
As far as performance, but they are a team that when you're preparing for them to use Shields' expression, you want someone who's going to make you sweat, right? He's going to put pressure on you during the week because you have to be prepared. But I don't know if it's a talent thing or what, but that their defense is not particularly good. The numbers bear it out. The performance bears it out. And they should be better. Now, when I look at that secondary, that secondary is bad, right? The talent there, like you said, is on the defensive front, but that with a defensive front like that, you should be getting more production.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I mean, I like Xavier McKinney. I know he's been injured.
Okay, that's probably their 4th or 5th best player. Yeah.
Julian Love, free agent to be. When I was doing a survey that never made print, as it were, in the preseason, asking guys their favorite teammates they've ever played with at any level. And James Bradberry said Julian Love, his favorite teammate. So there you go. We can get to the Bradberry revenge game.
Is there another good one on there?
Is there a specific one you're asking?
Is there another name that came to mind for best teammate someone's ever played with?
Several guys said BG.
Okay.
Which follows suit of the man of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Young defensive lineman. That's what they had to say. Brandon Graham. All right, Zach. What else in terms of like what we've talked to coaches about this week? Anything from the locker room? Are you buying into the Bradberry revenge game? I know Darius Slay talked about that today. Yeah. What else you got? Avonte Maddox,
so
you think he's definitely going to play?
I think Avonte Maddox is definitely going to play. My sense is that he felt good this week in practice. We'll see what happens there. They got to activate him. They can do so by 4:00 tomorrow. I think the Bradberry thing. Okay, so spoke to James, and look, this has been a topic that someone asked him. It might have been you when he was signed here. Do you have this game circled on your schedule? Right? He wasn't happy about the timing of the release. He said, well, he understands the business behind it, but it certainly didn't help him. If you haven't listened yet, I imagine if you're watching this now, you have listened, but I thought Dan Duggan did a really good job outlining it the other day on the pod on Wednesday. Bradberry, he was asked a few times about how AJ Brown said last week, he was downplaying it. And then he said after the game, no, this was a big deal. This did matter. Bradberry noted how their situations were different, right? That AJ wanted to get paid and that they traded him away. Bradberry said the situation with him was they had cap problems and they needed to cut him. Like he basically said they wanted to keep him, right? So one could say that they could have found creative ways to do it. But like Dan Duggan said, that number that Joe Schoen identified on the first day that he took the job, I think it was $40 million, was it? It's hard to come up with that without Bradberry's number, without Bradberry's salary. So Bradberry pointed out the differences there, but certainly the Giants miss him. I think the Giants would tell you that. The Eagles are the beneficiaries of it. Bradberry was named Player of the Week last week. I think we covered that on Wednesday's pod by the Eagles. So I don't think it's a revenge game in the sense of like he really wants to stick it to the Giants, but I think he has an advantageous matchup here.
Yeah, I mean that Giants wide receiving core, as someone might say, garbanzo beans. Okay. Mm-hmm. What about Avonte? You think he's definitely playing?
Yes, I think Avonte is definitely playing.
And I think we did bury the lead. The big news here, Zach, the Eagles, probably Josh Jobe taking over as a gunner.
I saw Denise say that, and per Professor Selman, I'll give him due respect. Yeah, that would seem to be big news. Although there seems to be a difference of opinion, or not difference of opinion, difference of interpretation on the Andre Sacheret situation. I believe he can be elevated to the active roster, but then he would need to clear waivers again.
Right. Every time he then gets elevated, he then gets exposed to waivers, is my understanding. But there is some question as to whether he's even allowed to be elevated again or not.
Yeah. But, so something to watch for there.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. You want to get into the matchup? Anything else from the locker room?
Spoke to Nakobe Dean this week. I thought Nakobe Dean played well the other day. When I asked Nakobe Dean about it, Nakobe said he actually thought he was like a tick too slow. And he thinks that's the byproduct of not playing defense for a while.
There's been a lot of people like really gassing up how well Nakobe Dean played and like he's got to be on the field. That is not what I saw. I mean,
well, I won't say he got to be on the field, but I thought he played well. Do you disagree?
I thought he played okay.
He had that one tackle where he was held and
he basically got run over. I mean, that wasn't like, I mean, he read the play right and he drew the holding call. I wasn't impressed by like the tackle. Like, I don't know. I think the path here is that, TJ Edwards and Kaiser White are both free agents. Maybe one of them returns and Nakobe Dean is a starter next year. I think that will go according to plan, but I wasn't like, oh my God, a superstar in the making off of those plays. Like the point has been made that like, if you look at those fourth quarter snaps with the backups, I mean, Christian Ellis was doing just as much as Nakobe Dean.
You love yourself some Christian Ellis.
I do love Christian Ellis, but I'm just saying that like, it's not like, and because Nakobe Dean is like limited physically relative to like star linebackers, he has to be like, he has to really show up in terms of his instincts and stuff like that. Right. And I thought he looked good. I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy is unbelievable. I think let's get ahead of let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I would say Bo Wulf is an established, objective reporter. But if he catches you humming Disney kid music, then he might have a soft spot for you. Is that fair to say?
I mean, 100%. Yes. Fully accurate.
Fully accurate. By the way, quick aside here. I don't mean to deviate, but make sure you guys check out Bo's piece on The Athletic that appeared yesterday of behind the scenes people in the organization who deserve some shine. I thought it was well done. I thought the people in there deserve shine, and it actually brought to mind, or it brings to mind, one of my favorite scenes from Sports Night. If we have Sports Night fans here, okay. If you remember, there was the Christmas episode one year where he didn't. I think it was Casey McCall didn't know the wardrobe specialist's name, and she pointed out all the people behind the scenes who make that show run. And then they had the closing of a show where they went through all those people and gave him credit. I am all about giving the people the credit who deserve credit and recognizing people behind the scenes. So really well done, well executed. And I advise anyone to check that out because it's the type of story you're only finding on The Athletic. Well,
thank you for saying so. I will. I have no choice but to break kayfabe here and say his name because this is an original Shield column idea. So he gets credit for that one.
Well, I mean,
he doesn't have time to show up to the complex anymore and do it.
No, I'm gonna say no disrespect to Shield, but to use the old Chip Kelly line, like you say, it all comes back to Chip Kelly. Unless you were in the room with Amos Alonzo Stagg, we're all borrowing concepts, right? Every article is essentially you're taking something.
Yeah, Chris Paul. Can you name your top 10 assist leaders?
Yeah. So you did it well. You deserve credit.
And also check out. No, well, just quickly on that, I do enjoy that because it is like there and having worked in the building, there are so many people who are contributing to the things that are going on the field and even not directly on the field, and also like so many people who the players aren't even aware of who are contributing in small ways too, or bigger ways sometimes. So I always enjoy when the players have a specific person in mind and tell a story. Like I thought Quez Watkins' story of Dustin, the trainer who writes some motivational messages on their peanut butter and jellies. I thought that was really nice. That's the fun stuff.
And I'll say too, shout out. This was something Joe Douglas and Andy Weidel used to always do is in their draft. I think we talked about this during the draft in the press conferences. They would always mention the scout who went to scout that guy, and Sirianni very purposefully, I think both apply here. He'll always give credit to like the position coach or the person responsible for that specific thing. Because in essence, every decision falls upon the person drafting or the person coaching, but there's so many people behind the scenes that go into something occurring. I always like when they get the credit.
And other content on the site, check out Zach's story of Nick Sirianni and Brian Daboll, the old connection, their time together in Kansas City, a tumultuous year, but, Sirianni has said that Daboll is one of his best friends in the business. So
yeah, and one of his biggest mentors. And this is one I actually had
physically or
he did not mention physically, but this is one I had tucked away since before the playoff game last year. And I probably could have executed it a little better here, but before the playoff game last year, Sirianni was asked, I believe, by Chris Franklin of NJ.com about his first interaction with Jalen Hurts. And he said, actually, the first time I met him was with Brian Daboll at the Combine. And so I kind of had that stored away. At that point, I didn't know where Daboll was going to end up. And then even if you go back to Sirianni's opening press conference, he spoke about specific coaches who've been mentors to him, and he mentioned Daboll. And what was interesting there is he only spent 1 year with Daboll. So you wonder why that was. And then I'm giving you kind of behind the scenes here, but I hope this doesn't seem stalkerish. I have Google alerts for Nick Sirianni, right? So like if there's an article somewhere that is not a place where I regularly read, it'll come to me. And there was
how many Google alerts do you have?
Like 10 or so. Yeah.
Can I guess them?
No, we can save that for another time.
Two can I name? I'm gonna during the break, I'm gonna come up with my list of 10. You can tell me how many I get right.
So there was a piece in Western, in a Buffalo paper, a Western New York paper, when Daboll was hired, when Sirianni was quoted saying that he learned more X's and O's from Daboll than just about anyone else. So I had been looking forward to doing this story, but it kind of got a lot of attention elsewhere too. So it's not something you can only find on The Athletic, but you can find our version of it on The Athletic right now.
All right. Why don't we take a little break? Our first of two. We'll come back, get into the matchup a little more. This blitz heavy, man heavy defense, this trying to make chicken salad offense, then doing it fairly successfully. Mediocre special teams. We'll get to all of that. And then after that, it's Swooper time.
This is a busy time of year for me with the holidays and football season converging. And I know for our listeners as well, there are parties to attend. There are trips to take. There's holiday shopping to finish. We get it. The holiday season can get busy and stressful. Freshly can ease that stress and shorten your to-do list by providing nutritious, balanced meals designed for busy lives. Freshly meals are delivered fresh and are ready to eat in 3 minutes, and their rotating menu features a variety of meal plan options to fit just you or the entire family. Freshly is the meal subscription service that delivers delicious, satisfying meals right to your door. Just heat and eat. No cooking or cleanup required. What I like about Freshly is it gives you more time to enjoy the holidays instead of just cooking. And it fits all the hosts on this show and all of our listeners because it can be gluten-free or dairy-free. It can be vegan or vegetarian. You can focus on low carb, or it can have your favorite dish for the holiday season. And if you have fun holiday plans, you'll have time to thank Freshly. The holiday season can get hectic with parties and extra commitments. Let Freshly help because they have a nutritious meal plan you'll actually like. Pick from a rotating menu of over 35 tasty, balanced meals for every dietary preference. And you can find flexible plans that fit your lifestyle anywhere from 4 to 12 meals per week. Whether you are calorie conscious, gluten-free, a plant-based pasta lover, or all of the above, switch up meals, skip a week, change your plan, or cancel at any time. It's that easy. You can skip the frozen aisle and let Freshly cook for you. You can chill, heat, and enjoy. Toss your meals in the fridge, then heat them up, and they're ready to eat in just 3 minutes. No cooking, no dishes, no lost time. Simply heat, eat, and repeat. And now, get $140 off your first 5 orders. Make mealtime a little easier this holiday season and let Freshly take care of the cooking for you. Order today and get $140 off your first 5 orders at freshly.com/birds for a limited time. That's freshly.com/birds for $140 off your first 5 orders. The weather's changing, but you know what hasn't changed for a long time? Your underwear. If you're still rocking worn out cotton undies, now's the time for a new pair of Tommy John's Apollo men's underwear. In Tommy John underwear, you're that much more comfortable so you can do everything better. Name a problem with other underwear and Tommy John solved it. Tommy John's breathable, lightweight fabric has 4 times the stretch of competing brands. They come with a no wedgie guarantee thanks to a non-rolling waistband and legs that never ride up. Plus, they feature a horizontal quick draw fly. Hammock pouch support stops the awkward swing and slap, giving everyone something to be grateful for. With over 18 million pairs sold, people love Tommy John underwear. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers, they have fanatics. Plus, everything's backed with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or it's free guarantee. Go to TommyJohn.com/athletic right now for 20% off your first order. 20% off at TommyJohn.com/athletic. TommyJohn.com/athletic. See site for details.
All right, back on Birds with Friends. Bo, Marissa, and Mr. Swing and Slap himself, Zach Berman. Zach, I've got my list of 10. Tell me how many I've got, okay? 2, can I name the 10 Googlers that you have set up?
This isn't productive. This is
Nick Sirianni.
Yes.
Zach Berman. Emily Berman. Jeffrey Lurie. Howie Roseman.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Jonathan Gannon. Shane Steichen. Chip Kelly.
Yes.
And Bulletproof Coffee.
You got 4 there. You got
You don't have yourself, Zach?
You don't have to one for yourself?
No, I don't.
Wow, so unvain.
But I think I had like an Al Gross still in there from when I was covering UVA that I haven't changed. So honestly, I'm guilty of my email inbox getting really backlogged.
Oh, way backlogged, yeah.
So
I don't think that'll surprise anybody on my end.
I'm surprised that on Zach's end.
No, because like every time you sign up for something, you get tons of emails. So I'm pretty good about the ones that are in the primary, right? In the Gmail tab, but
those other tabs, they don't count. Like that, you get the number on your phone is like so much more bloated than the number
exactly.
The phone number. That doesn't count.
Yeah, but like the primary, the social, the Google Alerts, I don't think is in the primary one. So.
But you still check it because you found that Sirianni story.
Yeah, it might have been one of these things where, like you said, the phone doesn't discriminate, right? So he's
talking the phone.
So like I was out one day and it comes and you see that and you click on it and it's like, oh, okay, this is an interesting story. So
okay,
yeah.
All right, let's start with the Eagles' offense against the Giants' defense. Eagles 3rd in DVOA, 3rd in pass DVOA, 1st in rushing DVOA. The Giants 28th in defensive DVOA, 28th against the pass, 27th against the run, rather. Highest blitz rate in the league, as we talked about, 44.5% of pass attempts they're blitzing. And then their man rate is far and away the highest in the league. They're at 47.2%. That's 10 percentage points higher than number 2. So that means that the difference between them and number 2 is like the difference between 2 and 11. I think it is like maybe overstated because if we say like they play man all the time, it's still less than 50% of the time. But that's the book on them, and that is the way that they play. Wink Martindale is gonna try to send heat as much as he can. That means that they will give up big plays. We've talked about the guys up front. Dexter Lawrence is awesome, and probably the type of matchup that gives Jason Kelce some difficulty sometimes. We'll see what happens with Leonard Williams. Azeez Ojulari is a good player, has been banged up, but is playing now. O'Shane Ximines has been productive this year.
Good job pronouncing it.
And is I was looking at the free agent to be pass rushers. He's got the best sack plus hit rate, quarterback hit rate of any to be free agent pass rusher that I could find. So a player who could maybe be cashing in this offseason, not too bad. But the secondary is trash-ish, Trashida Jones level. The linebackers are not very good. And one would imagine that this is a game where the Eagles think that they'll be able to pass the ball. One thing that I want to touch on, Zach, that we haven't probably given enough credit to, as much as we like to, as much as you like to talk about situational football, the Eagles have been so good in the red zone. Mm-hmm. Number 1 in the league in touchdown percentage in the red zone. The Giants defense, for all their warts, pretty good in the red zone. They're 5th in red zone defense. And so in a game where, division games, weird stuff could happen. If the Eagles take a bit of a step back in the red zone, that could matter, obviously, in the outcome of the game.
Yeah, those are all really good points there. I think did a good job summing it up. The red zone, I think low red zone in particular, Nick Sirianni has talked about that as an area where they
Can you guys vamp for 1 minute while I go get the doorbell?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. While Bo's out here, I'm going to give Marissa, I'm going to bring up something to you as someone who lived through I think you were dating Michael at the time when he was a college football player. Is that right? Okay, so you lived through the college football experience. I have a college football take that Bo doesn't follow college football, so you're the perfect audience for this. If I was a college football coach, I would pay so little attention now to recruiting, and all I would do is play the transfer portal.
I saw 3,000 players in the transfer portal or something. That's insane.
So yes, and quality players too, and they're older. Okay, so you're getting a player 2 years, 3 years into their college career sometimes. Okay, you can spend all this time trying to recruit a 16-year-old, and he's only with you for 1 year,
right?
You're probably getting a more immediate contribution. So if I was a college football coach, I would say I'm not going to spend all this time recruiting anymore. I'm just going to play. It's like free agency every year. Some guys you might have for 2 years. Some guys you might only have for 1. But it would seem to be much more efficient. And I think you can probably build better teams. Now, obviously, if you're Alabama, you're getting 5-star guys, right? But if you were a program like, Wake Forest or Syracuse or even Maryland, I would just play the portal, right? Because also the other part too is I hear coaches saying like player development. Well, great. If you develop someone who's really good, they're probably going to transfer to a big school anyways, right? You're seeing that now as well. So I don't get why more schools just aren't building their rosters with the portal.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I saw one player, it's his 4th time transferring. Like the fact that it's like unlimited, right? Transfers.
Yeah,
is crazy too. But I agree.
JT Daniels is going to sports
JT
school
Daniels,
now. Yeah.
But I think
you love JT Daniels, Zach.
I did. I was proven wrong there. Stetson Bennett's been so good, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and like,
how did we get? I left for 30 seconds. How do we get to the transfer portal?
I gave a take.
Had a college football take that he like couldn't wait to unload.
Okay.
Like the second you left, he was like, "Yes, Bo's gone. Let's talk college football. I need to get this off my chest." Bo doesn't like college football, so no, I agree, Zach. It's definitely like changing the whole college football landscape. It's crazy.
All right, Zach, you think this is going to be a run heavy or a pass heavy week for the Eagles?
So the way I'm going to frame this, because I was asked this the other day, and some weeks they focus on the pass, some weeks they focus on the run. This week they're going to focus on blitz beaters, right? I think that's going to be what it's. So if you look at the Giants, they're similarly as susceptible against the pass as they are against the run, a little better against the pass. But nonetheless, I think you like your matchups in both areas. It's not like the Packers where you saw this disparity or the Titans where you saw this disparity. I think that the way to attack this team or your preparation is preparing for that blitz and to have answers for the blitz. So some ways it might be runs with Jalen. Some times, there might be quick passes. Perhaps you have a max protect shot play in there. In any event, I really think you're going to see more balance in terms of run pass, but the focus will be on plays that beat the blitz.
Well, you hope that doesn't look like what it looked like against Arizona, right? Where it was
yep.
just all of those quick passes to the side that became very predictable and not super productive. Obviously, they've been better since then. But the one little breakdown that we've written about before is that they're really, really good against blitz man defense and below average against zone blitzes. So Wink Martindale does still blitz in zone, so we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I think that's probably fair.
I think that
maybe some more screens. We haven't seen a ton of screens lately. We also
especially since Goddard's absence.
Right, exactly. So maybe you see a couple Grant Calcaterra screens in this game. How about that?
Yeah, that's certainly something to watch. I think when you look at both sides, the Eagles have the advantage on the perimeter on both sides of the ball. Now, I think they have the advantage on the lines of scrimmage, but like we've mentioned, the Giants have some talent on both lines of scrimmage. Although if Leonard Williams is absent, and it seems like that's the case, that certainly hurts them. But when you look at the Giants wide receivers, Dan Duggan outlined this, it's a bad group of wide receivers. And then when you look at their corners, and especially without Jackson, it's a bad group of corners. So I think the Eagles are going to have confidence in their receivers against the Giants, and I think they're going to have confidence in their cover guys to the point that they probably don't don't need to give much help there, and they can pressure Daniel Jones with confidence in their matchups on the outside. I really think that's where the edge is right now.
All right, other side of the ball, Eagles 6th in defensive DVOA, second against the pass, 23rd against the run. The Giants 15th in offensive DVOA, 10th passing, 13th rushing. And I think those numbers are a little bit higher than I expected, especially the passing numbers, given the weakness of their wide receiver core. I tried to filter by the last 5 weeks or so, and the Giants numbers actually shoot up a little bit, which I think is a credit to Brian Daboll and what they've built around Daniel Jones. As Dan Duggan talked about, they have gotten him to make fewer mistakes and built in his strengths to the offense. Still, I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to pass a ton successfully against this Eagles defense, especially if Saquon Barkley's out. That said, we saw Ryan Tannehill have success last week as a scrambler. What's your level of confidence in the Eagles being able to handle Daniel Jones, the rushing quarterback?
Yeah, I think they're going to be more cognizant of it. And not to say that they weren't with Ryan Tannehill, because he does have mobility, but the game plan was very clear to take out Derrick Henry. And I think that the Eagles will see going into this game that the Giants can't really challenge you so much passing the ball, that it's going to be, they're going to be very cognizant of Daniel Jones's legs. And the Eagles have seen it with this staff and before this staff. So I don't think that that's going to be as much of a concern, but it is noteworthy that the Eagles really haven't seen that many quarterbacks who can move well. They saw Kyler Murray. They saw Tannehill last week, but these next 3 games in particular are quarterbacks who can move each week, right? I mean, Daniel Jones can, Justin Fields, we all know he can. Dak Prescott can as well, although he's doing less of it than he might have in the past. But that's certainly something to monitor, because the 3 longest rushes that Tennessee had all were by Tannehill last week.
Yes, that's right. And 3 of their 5 longest plays.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Zach. Special teams. Giants mediocre, just like the Eagles. They're 19th. The Eagles are 21st. Anything else to talk about in this game matchup-wise? Andrew Thomas has been good at left tackle, as we said. Evan Neal has struggled at right tackle. And their interior offensive line is not very good either. So you would imagine this is a game where maybe Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, and we'll see how much Jordan Davis plays, but those guys in the middle can make some noise.
Yeah, I think one storyline you'll probably hear about on TV, and you might have heard this week, and we had a brief note on it in The Athletic, is this was the site of Jalen Hurts' worst game last season, right? I mean, he threw 3 interceptions. He injured his ankle. It was just a bad day for the offense all around.
Yeah, that play at the end of the first half, I remember. I still remember as the worst play that I've ever seen him make, where he's like, he tries to throw it back across his body.
Okay.
Whether in the red zone.
Yep.
Remember that?
Vaguely.
Okay. Sorry.
But Jalen Hurts wasn't really playing along with that angle this week, in terms of that being like this big turnaround in his career. He made a point that you don't just learn from your negative experiences, you can learn from your positive experiences as well. But look, he's a better quarterback than he was last year. 3 interceptions in that game, 3 interceptions all season this year. The Giants are a different defensive scheme, different defensive roster than what they had last year, but it is the scene of his worst game. And the Eagles were actually there the following week, and he didn't play. Minshew was in there that week. So that is a storyline to watch, but I think Jalen's going to have a big game this week.
I think we're going to learn a lot about the Eagles in this game, because there is my like the little tingling sense of, okay, you've got head coaches going up against each other who know each other very well. That sometimes can lead to wonky results. You got a division game against a team who a staff you haven't played before. They're going on the road after a big win last week. Like, maybe this game is going to be pretty tight. Maybe this is I was originally thinking this could be a game ripe for an upset. This could be the game the Eagles drop, other than the Cowboys game. But if they come out and back up what they did last week with another resounding performance, I just think that would be really, really impressive.
Yeah, I think you're going to be really impressed.
Right.
But I've admittedly underplayed or downplayed underrated the Giants throughout the season.
Could this be the first time that you don't split the middle on the prediction? A good tease here.
So that's I don't think highly of this Giants roster. I think highly of their coaching job, but I don't think highly of this Giants roster. By the way, real quick, I wouldn't call this a toucan you name, but a little testing your memory. You mentioned O'Shane Ximines earlier in this pod. Do you remember?
Dominion.
Yeah, but yes, he is Old Dominion. But when has he come up on Birds with Friends previously this season?
Was it when we were talking about the Old Dominion people?
There was something specific that occurred. It's probably bad podcasting.
Is it? I used to play this game with my brother and my dad growing up, where you would play the alphabet game with like baseball players' names or something like that. I mean, O'Shane Ximines is a huge pickup for X's.
It has nothing to do with that, but it has to do with Jack Driscoll's first start first time he played left tackle. Remember, he said he went and he watched the video of him on YouTube, UMass against Old Dominion, and the guy he was blocking was O'Shane Ximines.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Well, that came up on Birds with Friends because I butchered the name, and I think we would have to rewind the tape, but I think you corrected me on the name.
Okay. Fair enough. Marissa, it looks like a very comfortable winter sweater you've got going on.
Yes. Very like
the sleeves, especially.
Yes. Yes. Got to be warm. I mean, I actually pump the heat up like really high when Michael's not here during the day. And then
how high are we talking?
Oh, like I had it at 75 before.
Nice.
Whoa.
And then he walks in the door and he's like, it's so hot in here. So usually, and he's home now. So usually he turns it back down. So
what's he got it at?
Very cold. Oh, if he wanted to, it would be at like 67.
Ooh.
Yeah, but there's no chance. So yeah,
Zach,
I'm always cold.
What number are you working at? 69, isn't it?
Not for anything like that. That's just been the number that it's set.
The temperature in Zach's house is always 69. And with that, we will send it to break and come back with some Swooper scorecasting.
It's time to knock that next business idea out of the park with Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Forget the off-season work. Shopify makes it simple to sell to anyone from anywhere. Whether you're selling warm-ups or wall hangers, it's time to start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. With Shopify, you'll customize your online store to your brand, discover new customers, and build the relationships that create die-hard fans. Shopify fields all the sales channels to grow a winning business, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks to 24/7 support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is on your team every step of the way. It's how every minute new sellers around the world score their first sale with Shopify, and you can too. Shopify is the secret to becoming a business champion by making it simple for anyone to sell their products anywhere, taking the guesswork out of selling. When you're ready to take your winning idea to the world, team up with Shopify, the commerce platform powering millions of businesses down the street and around the globe. Try out Shopify for free today and start selling anywhere. This is Possibility powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/birds, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/birds to start selling online today. Shopify.com/birds. So Saturday night, my wife and I wanted to have a nice dinner, but we were eating at home. We didn't have a babysitter, so we couldn't go out. You know what we did? We had the steakhouse experience in our own home with Omaha Steaks. That's right, we grilled Omaha Steaks, and you can too. The holidays are here. Achieve gifting greatness when you give the gift of perfectly aged, tender, and delicious Omaha Steaks. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have put together special curated gift packages to help take the guesswork out of gifting and make you a holiday hero. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code BIRDS at checkout to get $30 off your order. Send an assortment of mouth-watering favorites guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon, air-chilled boneless chicken, ultra-juicy burgers, and even easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, so shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code BIRDS at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart, a gift that will be remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence today, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit omahasteaks.com, use promo code BIRDS at checkout to get an extra $30 off your order.
All right, back with Birds with Friends, Bo, Zach, and Marissa, and it's time for another edition of Swooper Scorecasting, wherein we bid on items that may or may not occur during Sunday's game or over the course of the weekend. Your boy has a resounding 8-3-1 lead with 5 weeks left in the regular season. We'll see what the playoff scoring turns out to be, but it's getting late early. We're getting late early for you two guys. Zach, you've got 33 turkeys with which to bid today. Marissa, you're back to 0. You've got 24. And I borrowed against the future. I've only got 17 turkeys this week as we forge ahead. How's everybody feeling?
I mean,
pessimistic about my chances, but yeah.
I'm hoping that we do something big for the playoffs. That's what I'm, where I can get back into this. But Danis said in his message today, don't let Bo win. So I'm going to do my best to not let Bo win.
Marissa, how did Michael feel about Baker's game last night?
We were very happy for him. We both were high-fiving in that final drive.
That's very sweet.
Yeah. I said this on the Jets defensive
performance.
People can say whatever, but as a teammate to Michael, he was always really, really good to Michael throughout his time in Cleveland. So, he was rooting for him, and that was a pretty crazy game. So, yeah, good for him.
That's great.
Happy to see it.
All right, before we get into Swooper, we gotta get into Swooper.
I thought I was ready for it before.
I'm sorry. Zach, start us off.
5.
What?
Wait, what?
Dennis, it just ruined Zach's weekend.
Swooper.
Oh! So good. All right. Zach, I think it's your turn to go first.
Okay. So you might be familiar with this one. A.J. Brown reaches 1,000 yards. He needs 50 yards this game to become the Eagles' first 1,000-yard receiver.
Now, look at what you're doing. You got the inflated turkeys this week.
No, it has
you're
nothing to do with that.
In something very easy.
No, it has nothing. I'll start with my second one then. Okay,
that's okay.
No, because the joke was that okay, all right. I'm not putting in something easy. And by the way, he might not get 50 yards this game. Right? There's a lot of variables that could occur.
Unlikely.
Okay.
What about? Wait, when are you going to give me these over/unders? Are these going to be after Swooper?
I guess so. Yeah, I thought we were going to do it before, but after is fine. And actually, that way we know what not to overlap. So
okay.
1.
But I'll say real quick, his over/under for this game is 71.5. So
okay.
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8.
8 going once. 8 going twice. Sold to Zach.
Nice one, Zach.
What's that? He needs at least 50?
Yes.
Okay.
What if he gets exactly 50?
Yes, he's a 1,000-yard receiver.
Okay.
But if he gets 50 and then he gets stuffed for a loss and he finishes the game with 48, that doesn't count. So
that's true. All right, Marissa, you're up.
Okay. Jalen Hurts has more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley.
Now, if Saquon doesn't play, is that still applicable?
That is the Swooper.
Okay.
I mean, he's got a neck injury. 7.
Ooh. Wow. But if he does play, that's not like I can't let Bo get something like that.
7 going once.
8.
Eight going once. Someone wants to bid behind the door.
My kids are home, and so they're saying hi.
They want to play?
They'd probably be better than me this year, but
8 going twice.
I'm not sure how I feel about this one, but I'm in for it.
I think you got this, Marissa. 8 sold to Marissa.
Okay.
I mean, you could get this one before the game even starts. You could get this one tomorrow.
I know. That would be huge, but.
Wow. 2 likely ones to hit already.
Okay.
All right. I have a similar rushing one. Daniel Jones is the game's leading rusher.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 1.
I am out on this one.
1 going once.
You can have it at 1.
1 going twice. Sold. All right. I'll take that. It doesn't seem that far-fetched.
No. It's a good one for 1, definitely.
Okay.
Opening it up. There's some red. Okay, the items. Exactly one of the following 3 things happen. 1. Janarius Robinson is active. 2. Tyree Jackson gets his first target of the season. 3. Cam Jurgens gets his first target of his season. Sealed bid, third price auction. All 3 players privately write down their bids and then reveal them at the same time. The highest bidder wins the item, but only pays the third highest bid. The other 2 players do not pay anything. If there is a 2-way tie for the highest bid, flip a coin to determine the winner. That person will still just pay the third highest bid. If there is a 3-way tie, do a random drawing to determine the winner. That person will just pay whatever the bid was that everyone bid. So again, exactly one of the following 3 things happens. Janarius Robinson is active. Tyree Jackson gets his first target of the season. Cam Jurgens gets his first target of his season.
And whoever has the highest bid wins it, but pays the price of the lowest bid.
Yes.
Okay.
But only one of them can happen.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, hold on. I really need to get a pen and paper next to my.
I should have bid more on the Daniel Jones one. Good job, Bo.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what you guys are going to do here.
All right, tell me when.
Hold on. All right.
3, 2, 1, 4.
10.
Whoa.
So Zach has 3, so I pay 3.
Wow. Zach, he game theoried us again.
I know, because I was worried everyone's going to bid high, and I didn't want this
right.
item.
That's what I was worried about too.
Yeah. So like if I bid 8, let's say, and then Bo bid 10 and you bid 9 or however it is, then I'd be happy someone got 8, right? But
right.
Yeah. So
okay, but I think this could happen.
Tyree
every time Jurgens is on the field, I tell Zach it's coming here. But
yeah. I don't think now you and I were debating the Janarius Robinson thing. I think the defensive line inactives are going to be similar to last week with Robinson inactive, like Quinn was inactive last week. Quinn just Robinson just takes Quinn's spot. And
because the clock had run out. The clock had run.
Yes.
They had to. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So that's why they elevated him. But maybe they go. I just don't see them sitting one of those D tackles or not dressing one of those D tackles.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So if that's the case, then you're really heavy on the defensive line.
Yeah, maybe you could borrow against.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you need all 3 tight ends up? They used to play with 2 tight ends up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Okay. All right. Over to you, Zach. You've got 25. I've got 13. Marissa's got 16.
So you can probably guess what this one is based on.
I meant to joke earlier. I'm sorry. I blew this. I meant to say all 3 of my All three of my prompts this week have the number 69 in them. But I missed it, so now I'm cycling back.
Miles Sanders reaches 1,000 yards, becoming the first Eagle since 2014 to rush for 1,000 yards, and he is 76 yards away from that distinction.
76 yards away.
Now, I actually, I would say I'm pretty informed on the Eagles, but there was a lot of swooper about Boston Scott being the Giants' killer.
Yes.
So I did not know that. So I'm wondering if that will factor into this one. So not to knock your swooper, Zach, but might keep my bidding a little low.
That's good. I was trying to keep mine based on a theme here for these first two, but that's fair. Yes. The last one departs from the theme, but
I mean, I'll go 1.
2.
I'll say 3.
4.
4 going once. 4 going twice. Wow, what a steal. Sold to Zach. That's a steal.
And by the way, Nick Sirianni said when Miles Sanders reaches 1,000 yards, he'll be the first one high-fiving him. But that should have happened last year. He said, but it should have happened last year. He said this should be Miles Sanders' second 1,000-yard season. Injury was the reason he did not get it last season.
Well, yeah. That is the reason he didn't get it. That counts as a reason.
Yes, but yeah.
What a ridiculous thing to say.
You're really aggrieved by Sirianni's comment there.
Well, yeah, that's not a good excuse. That's part of the deal is playing a full to get to 1,000 yards. You got to play and not get injured. Sorry. I mean, what are we talking about here? All right, go ahead, Marissa.
Okay. The Eagles have twice the number of sacks as the Giants.
Exactly twice, or
more
than
twice?
Or more.
At least.
Okay. 3.
4.
5.
6.
This is high. 7.
7 going once.
I'm out. You can have this one, Zach. Unless
7
Bo wants
going
to jump
twice. Sold to Zach.
So for context here, the Eagles are second in the league in sacks with 42. The Giants, they have 25 sacks. I don't know where specifically they rank, but in the middle of the league.
Okay.
All right. In this game, there is a special teams touchdown scored or a special teams play in which the receiving team advances the ball into the opposing team's red zone. So this could be a return or it could be like a block, but it goes all the way into the opposing team's red zone.
And it's a punt return or
any special teams play. Could be a field goal block. Could
1.
Looking for a big play on special teams by either side. I'll say 2. Kind of fun to root for.
I'm out on this one.
2 going once.
I gotta conserve.
2 going twice. Sold. That'll be exciting.
Okay.
All right, Dennis.
Okay. Lots of colors on this. The item. The Eagles' offense has more accepted penalty yards than the total number of turkeys bid on this item by all 3 players. The Eagles' offense is averaging 25.4 penalty yards per game, the 4th most of any offense in the league. The league average for an offense is 20.9 yards. Only penalty yards on plays with the actual offense on the field count, so special teams penalties do not count, even if it's a fake, etc. This is a regular auction, and it says, note, even though the losers don't pay anything, their bids still matter because the item itself is based on the total number of turkeys bid by all 3 players. So the more you bid as a loser, the less valuable the item is for the winner. To calculate the total number of turkeys bid, We will count the highest bid that each player made during the bidding as their bid. So again, the Eagles offense has more accepted penalty yards than the total number of turkeys bid on this item by all three players.
3. 11.
Is that all you have left, Bo?
Yes.
So, but what Bo just did there is because you haven't given your bid yet, Marissa, then you don't have anything that's added into it. I bid 3, Bo bid 11, so now we're at 14. And the only way someone goes more than that is if they. So that was really good work by Bo to get it in quickly. If he had
I don't think it's fair because I'm like reading the prompt and he gets to like strategize the whole time I'm reading.
Yeah. So look, I'm credit to Bo. It's like when someone makes a good play. I'm going to give him this one because I don't want to go 12, and then that pushes it up to 25, and I would only have 2 turkeys left, I think. So great job.
Now it's only 14.
Yes, I recognize that, but I don't want to if I bid any higher, it has less of a chance of hitting, and
he's out,
low
right?
on turkeys.
I'm out now.
Yeah,
okay.
That was a good bid.
I'm gonna bid 0.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the help, Zach.
Yeah. So Bo understood it well and threw in his number quickly. He did a good job. Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
All right. I am up here, and someone on the comment on the chat mentioned last week that we're in these situations. I always mention how I'm not changing what I wrote down. I said I'm not going to do it, but by saying I'm not doing it, I suppose I'm doing it. So this is what I originally had, which is James Bradberry is directly involved in a turnover. I wrote involved, but directly involved in a turnover. So therefore, he has an interception, he forces a fumble, or he recovers a fumble. I did not. Should we put a tip pass?
I will give you
yes.
I think if he tips a pass and it's interception, that should count.
Okay, yeah. So directly involved in a turnover.
0.
3.
4.
5.
How many turkeys do I have left, Bo?
You have 16. He has 14.
Okay, 6.
You can have it for 6. Good job.
Marissa, that's too much.
It's okay. I mean, I'm gonna spend them, and we don't got many items left.
All right.
Okay. The broadcast shows a photo of Jalen Hurts and Brian Daboll at Alabama.
Ooh, good one.
1.
2.
3.
4.
5.
Now, is it both of them together, or can it be different points? Like they're shown at Alabama.
Yes, it's like
them.
What I'm saying. And there can be other people in the picture.
Yeah. Okay.
Tua could be in the picture.
Yeah.
Right. Tua was there when Daboll was there too.
6.
You can have it for 6.
Okay. I'm down to 8 turkeys.
Okay.
Daboll Hurts. Okay. The Eagles win the game by a multiple of 4.
That's such a weird one. So you're looking at
1.
Right now, Marissa has 10 left. Zach has 8 left. There's one Dana's prompt left to go.
Yeah, I don't really like this one. 4, 8, 12, 16. I mean, yeah, you don't see. I guess you see
24-20 all the time.
You see that. I don't think it's. 8.
21-17.
Yeah, I'll go 2.
3.
You can have it at 3.
3 going once, 3 going twice. Sold to the bidder in the comfy sweater.
How many turkeys does Marissa have?
7. You've got 8.
Okay. The item number 12. The the Eagles win the game. Unlimited borrowing from next week's turkeys is allowed for all bidders. If the item hits, the winner's turkeys will all be pardoned and refunded in full.
If the item hits?
If the item hits, the winner's turkeys will all be pardoned and refunded in full.
That's a new wrinkle. 7.
Note that this is the opposite of what we've been doing.
Yeah.
This is all or nothing. Either you get the point and the turkeys back, or you get nothing and lose the turkeys.
7.
I will do 7 and 1 for next week. 8.
10.
11.
12.
13.
14.
15.
16.
Whoa. How many items does Zach have?
He's got 4.
And I have
2.
3.
Oh, 3, sorry.
3. 17.
18.
19.
20.
I think they're going to win.
Marissa can bid up to 31. Zach can bid up to 32.
21.
22.
I can bid up to 24.
23.
24.
Oh my goodness. 25.
26.
So confident that the Eagles are going to win this game.
They're 7-point favorites, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
26. Zach is like fully in on this. 26. So basically, I'd be totally out next week. Like
yeah. If they lose. If they win, you get everything back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they lose, I'm going to probably lose the game and then lose next week.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
But my philosophy is like the only way I am winning Swooper is if I win this week, right? And so next week, like I'm like a coach who's putting it all on the line here, right?
Yeah, you're running Weston McKinney, Eunice Musa.
Yes, exactly.
Tyler Adams ragged.
Exactly.
Deal with tomorrow.
What was Zach's latest bid?
27? Is that what it was?
26, I'm at.
Okay.
27.
28.
Oh, jeez. 29.
Whoa.
And I can go up to 30?
You can go up to 32.
Okay, 30.
Marissa, you got one spot left. You can go to 31.
31. I'm already this far.
Yeah, 32. Let's do it, right?
Wow. A Giants win is going to completely wipe out Swooper.
Zach, I'm proud of you. That was good, Zach.
I mean, look, this is
32 for Zach.
But then I get all of them back. If the Eagles win, I get all. So basically,
correct.
Yeah. I mean, there's 7-point favorites. There's a high probability of them winning. If they lose, you were going
to write the most aggressive, hating article you've ever written. If the Eagles lose this game, you're going to be despondent.
No, I mean, my focus more is my job than Swooper. I mean, nothing can get in the way of my objectivity. But I'm comfortable with that outcome, by the way, right? Because I need to win this week, and like if I
agree that we're playing for now, but
yeah, and it's a high probability event. It's not like I would feel worse if I was putting all the turkeys in for last week's outcome, right?
Yeah, that's
because then that would have wiped me out. So yeah.
All right, so Zach has the Eagles win. A.J. Brown has at least 50 yards receiving. Miles Sanders has at least 73 yards rushing. The Eagles have at least twice as many sacks as the Giants. And there's a picture on the broadcast of Brian Daboll and Jalen Hurts from Alabama. Pretty impressive set of outcomes that you have there, Zach. Good stuff by you. Marissa has Jalen Hurts has more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley. James Bradberry is directly involved in a turnover. And the Eagles win by a multiple of 4. I have there's a special teams play into the opponents or the kicking team's red zone. One of Janarius Robinson plays, Tyree Jackson or Cam Jurgens gets a target. One of those things happens. The Eagles have more than 14 penalty yards on offense. And one other thing. Daniel Jones is the game's leading rusher.
Wait, did we discuss if it's accepted penalty yards? Okay.
Oh, okay. That matters.
Accepted. Yes.
Okay. All right. Zach, I believe, is the Eagles injury report out?
Yes, it actually just came out here. I have it on my phone. And Sean Bradley out with a hamstring injury. Quez Watkins, Kaiser White have no injury designation.
Sean Bradley out. That means that I would imagine Christian Ellis will have to be back up again, and they might need another body on special teams.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry, are we inconveniencing you?
A matter of fact, yes. yeah, we're tight against my heart out. We have 6 minutes until my heart out. So
okay.
Yes.
Well, you're podcasting your heart out, so let's get it in for your heart out.
No, so real quick though, Bo, what do you think of this over/under? If I may ask you, what would you do with Devontae Smith? Okay, Devontae Smith at pulled it up here, 4.5 catches over/under.
Over.
Yeah, me too. I was surprised by that number. And Devontae Smith has gone over that in 6 of the last 8 weeks. I believe you can find it in tomorrow's picks column. But that's if you're looking for a player prop, I really like Devontae Smith over 4.5 catches in this game. And I think they could be a heavy screen game as well.
Okay. You ready for your crystal ball, Deagle?
Yes, I am. As you can tell by Swooper, I really like this matchup for the Eagles. I think that the edge on the perimeter is the key. I think they also have the edge on the line of scrimmage. I think they have the edge at quarterback. I think they have the edge at coaching. The Giants have kept teams close this year, but I think the Eagles are a better team that is playing well, is going to be prepared for the moment. I actually think of this 3-game road trip, I think next week could be the trickier one than this week, and we'll get the next week. The one thing I don't have them doing, and I bid on the multiple 4 in Swooper, and that is I don't have this game by a multiple 4, but I do have them covering. This is a 44 points or 44.5 point over under. I have the Eagles winning 28-6. Actually, this is a multiple of 4, 28-16.
Wow, look at you.
I didn't even think about that. I think I wrote down 28-17 initially. I might have changed it. 28-16. Eagles win. They cover. They advance to 12-1. First time in Nick Sirianni's career that he's part of a 12-win team. The Eagles clinch a playoff bid, and then the focus is on seeding thereafter.
All right. I can't shake the feeling this one's going to be a little bit tighter than expected, even with all the Giants' injuries. I just think division games can be weird, and I don't know. I just something just tells me it's going to be a little bit wonky. I still think that the Eagles are going to find a way to win, and maybe that is the takeaway is that Jalen Hurts in the place where he had his worst game last season finds a way to battle through and hold on at the end. I just think it's going to be a little bit weird. Maybe Darius Slayton, the Eagles killer, has a big play in the game. Maybe the Eagles have a little bit of a turnover issue, and that's what happens. But the Eagles pull it out in the end. I'm going to say 26-24. A tight one. There you go. Marissa, any final thoughts before Zach has his heart out?
We have a cameo to do. So
okay. All right. We will do that. Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
So right. We love you.
All right. Well, that'll do it then for this episode of Birds with Friends. We haven't decided whether we're going to be doing pod pre-drive back or not. So it'll either be slightly earlier on Sunday evening or a lot later. But we'll let you know. Stay tuned to Zach's Twitter feed. Or Marissa's. For Zach and Marissa and Chip, I'm Bo. We thank you for listening. We will talk to you on Sunday night. And as always, we love you.